I've been working on a startup myself. I've always noticed that there's sort of like you're a bit too young to do this.
Yes.
How do you get past the stereotypes or limitations?
Do you agree with them? Great. You're on your fucking way. Do you give a shit of what people think?
Occasionally.
I respect that. You're 12, right?
Yep.
When I was 12, I occasionally cared what people thought too. That shit goes away real quick. That's the answer. Like what? Your teacher or your Uncle Rick thinks that you're too early? Here's what's gonna happen. Either you're right or they're right. Spending any time debating who's cheering for what outcome or what point of view is a complete waste of your energy. You hate paying taxes?
It's not even I hate it. I don't think there's enough explanations about the tax world. I was losing money every time I got on stage, and I don't think nobody really explains that enough to artists. Like, yo, this tax shit is real, bro. And they like to strike after your third or fourth album.
I wish they taught taxes in school versus fucking
Cursive.
Pick anything.
Long division. Y equals MX plus B. I still don't all the way give a fuck. Like
Periodic tables.
Yeah.
My senior quote is, blindly listening to parents and teachers never fucking works. You ever see Bronx? I think it's Bronx Tale, where the kid sees a kid that he lent $20 to and he still owes him $20, and he starts like chasing him, and the gangster grabs him and says,
he's out of your life for $20. You got off cheap. Forget it.
any manager, any friend or girl, you're in control. You cut them out. I'm never mad when people try to gloss off me. You know why? I'm in control. A, I'm hard to trick. But B, if somebody got me, because I didn't even give a shit if they tricked me, I can cut them. I'm the fucking energy.
You're always right. You're always right.
If I ran Nintendo today, I'd probably put out 5,000 pieces of creative content starring Zelda and Mario and build up the IP and make sure all those characters would be winning on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Kid Icarus, Mega Man, and all these things. Reboot all that nostalgia brands, not just Mario and Zelda. And then I would innovate for games. There's no reason that Fortnite couldn't have been predicated on Nintendo characters. And I would look at mobile games very heavily for females because the IP translates extremely well. I'd probably start 10 original podcasts. I would just produce at scale. Make. You got a phone?
Sure.
Video. Victoria, hey, it's Gary Vee. I'm giving a speech to 2,000 people. I'm here with your fiance. Fiance, right?
Yeah.
Fiance. Pretty good looking dude. Anyway, life is very basic. The second you stop hearing them, both positive and negative, is the second your life gets happier. Anytime your old friend or some random person on the internet makes you feel bad, you send them this video. Hey person, fuck you. This is spicy as fuck, but I'm too mentally strong to waver. Because what I don't think most people understand is how much life is mental. Basically, I've decided that I will not lose to the sauces. I'm a little worried about this one. This one looks, it's called fucking death, you know, I'm like, fuck. I'll never forget this. I opened the door for a woman in McDonald's when I was 8. Opened it and let her walk through. My mom basically treated that event like I won the Nobel Peace Prize for like 3 weeks. But think about how smart that is. She made big deals out of the things that were tried and true. And then when I got D's and F's, she punished me. Even though she knew I didn't need school, in her heart, she made me know that there was accountability for things. Anytime I showed any of those actions, she drove them home. And I think modern day parents and most parents do not do that. I think they focus on dumb shit like grades because they are insecure and they want to put the bumper sticker that their kid went to, Stanford. Somebody left a comment, Gary Vee, you convinced me to stay in school. And I was pumped. This kid is hearing me. I'm not shitting on college. I'm cheerleading for self-awareness. There's no such thing as one thing works for everyone. And one of the scariest things in American society is parents putting pressure on kids to go to school to make the parent feel good and making the kid take on debt for that when the kid doesn't feel like they want to do that. And then they come out the other side, spend the next 15 years trying to reconcile that debt. That's why you have a lot of unhappy people. Hey kids, listen to me right now. What you're gonna learn in flipping is gonna be foundational skill sets that you'll be able to use in perpetuity. And while everybody's judging you, from your mom to your grandma to your neighbor, you're learning actual skills of survival in actual life. So tell them to go fuck themselves when they're mad that you got a D in science, but you flipped 84 pairs for $400 in profit. See how small I said? It's not about how much, it's the skill set that you're gaining.
Something I love to do that you probably didn't know.
Down in the deep, when your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Ay, what you know about
If you are shitting on yourself, that is not your natural state. You are not born or built to actually think you fucking suck. You don't. You've actually parroted. You know, a parrot? Like Johnny Gannon. You know that thing? You've parroted somebody else's voice. So many of you, unfortunately, are in ecosystems of family members and people close to you who've built insecurity in you from the get, and I am here to fucking take it out. My friend, you don't fucking suck. You're fucking awesome. You need to carve that shit out of your brain.
A lot of people saying, oh, I can't wait to get back to normal. Do you ever think there will be back to normal, or will there be a new normal?
There'll be a new normal. It's impossible. I am not going to travel as much. I'm going to see my children at their school functions all the time because I'm going to do my business call on the phone, Zoom, where that was difficult before because the business associated wanted to meet in person. But now she or he will be open. Not always. And I won't be. There'll be times where I still fly to Dubai for one meeting, but there will be absolutely times where I have 3 meetings in Dubai that would have required a trip that won't. As a 22-year-old kid, worked for my parents' business for 12 years, every day, every Saturday, gave up my entire social life during my 20s, which is the prime, took my family business from a $3 to a $65 million business, and then left at 34 years old with no money because I poured all the money back into the business, and I owned 0.0% of the business. So I came, I did my thing, I changed the course of my parents' financial life, and then I was ready to do my own thing at 34 with nothing. So when people are impatient at 26, I laugh because I only started at 34. For me, because the first 12 years was for them. And so I knew that was right from the get, because that was my mission.
Start with 10 for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
Speaking.
Yes.
One more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
Oh, thank you.
I never say 8.
What do you think is the difference between a hustler, someone who actually grabs the bull by the horns, and then all these phonies who talk about it?
Entitlement. They think they deserve it without it putting in the work. You would be stunned how many of the winners lack that entitlement. I wake up every morning thinking that everything I've done is what I've done. I don't deserve shit. Today may be the day it all falls apart. I'm only as good as my last at bat. I'm not shit. I think those are people that are winning.
How do I fight the stress of final exams?
Exams mean jack shit. So the stress should be super simple to deal with. No test actually has any impact on your life, including the SATs. In real life, not in the fake life that you, your teachers, and parents have created. If you are one that stresses tests, it means you care about micro, little things, and that will translate into life in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and you'll worry about very micro goals, which will then make you stress, and you'll just be in that machine your whole life. It's a huge vulnerability. The sooner you start not stressing about tests in school is the beginning of you actually navigating a happier life. Small percentage of people, anytime I say anything's like, but daddy's liquor store, or he was given $4 million. Like I read this shit sometimes and I'm like, fuck man, I feel bad. Like for that person to like want to say that because it makes them feel better that they're not willing to put in the work or they're unhappy or whatever is going on for them, that makes me feel like, sympathy. Like honestly, and we've created this term trolls. I don't look at it as trolls. I really don't, because I respect other people's points of view and I want to learn from conversation. Like everybody now is just like trolls, and any negative thing you get, people dismiss as hate. I fucking read that shit because I would never want to become a caricature of myself. I need to calibrate it. It definitely doesn't bring me down. I want to understand it and I have to adjust. We all have to adjust. I just think there's a lot of things going on in the system, but I really want to get people's minds more quiet because it is just one big game of, are you valuing other people's opinions or are you valuing your own process? You and I are going to be closer because of COVID. Instead of seeing each other once, like it's just so obvious. We're going to be in this mixed world.
Question. Is that healthy? Because human beings are created to connect. And I don't mean connect through Zoom or a phone. Main thing about human beings is that we are social creatures. We want to be touched and we want eye contact.
Digital is the gateway drug to human. I'm in New York City and you're in Dubai. When you and I see each other on February 16th, the hug that you and I are going to have is going to be tighter because of this hour spent on Zoom.
Interesting.
It is interesting, Hala, right? Because the world is obsessed with or, and I live in and. The world is obsessed with or. It has to be this or that. I live in the world of and that is my greatest strength.
Did you know Gary hosted Miss America? I was a judge, right? Wait, what?
I judged Miss America. Clip.
Welcome back and welcome to our distinguished judges, an entrepreneur, author, and master of social media, Gary Vaynerchuk.
I will never forget that call.
Early. Like,
5 years ago.
yeah.
Hello? Hey, Gary, it's da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, look, we're seriously considering, we're trying to expand a little bit and looking for somebody in social. Would you consider judging Miss America? Let me think about it. Yeah, it was amazing. It was especially fun for me because one of the best things we did with my mom, me and my sister, from 1982 to 1988 was like award shows. It was a big thing. Like we'd all get in my mom's bed, we would watch and we'd try to guess. That's why it was so fun for me.
It seems like almost everything you do
is being
documented. Do you think that it's strange at all that everything's being captured and recorded, or is this the new normal?
This is the new normal. I think it's strange for people that are not capturing. My great-great-great-great-grandson Jeremiah is watching this right now. Hey Jeremiah. Like, it's like, that's fucking amazing. People decide no before they try. Not just you, the fucking world. That's why I love the DM thing, right? You don't think 21 Savage is hitting you back, but he might. Crazy shit happens.
Now look at this.
Let me give you my 2012 predictions. I got props. This thing, it's going to be looked upon like an 8-track very, very shortly. RIM, the company that brings us the BlackBerry, I'm predicting that they are going to be on the verge of bankruptcy or maybe even sold. And I think at the end of 2012, we'll be seeing some scary things. So now I know what you're thinking, oh, but it's so much easier to type on it. Not enough. It's the app culture we live in. These guys don't get it. And the little buttons here to make it easy for you to type, it's not going to be enough to hold on. RIM in big trouble in 2012. Sometimes you meet somebody and you just know that you're going to know them for the rest of your life.
I got a lot of respect for Gary Vee. I call him a radical. I call myself a radical too, so I think we relate on that level.
Mr. Ladies, how you feeling?
Dude, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, homie. We had a good talk early in the process, right?
If you actually had the luxury to even know him a little bit, he impacted you immediately. He was a special guy.
A reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. On the head, it's radicals, you know what I'm saying? Creative destruction, a risky business of going against the grain. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself.
Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
You got to know him.
Nipsey Hussle, he's so thoughtful about the way he produces his songs, and he paints such a clear picture of his truth. He stands out for me.
That's why I'm kind of going slow. As much as people like trying to rush me, I'm going slow because I think that there's no need to rush. I think all the opportunities are unfolding.
I'd rather invest in some real estate, you know what I'm saying?
Wait, can you repeat that again, man? You're up and coming artist. What did you say you want to do?
I said invest in some assets.
The reason you're gonna win is you wouldn't do something with something you didn't believe in, thus you're sad. He meant so much. He was doing so much good. He was trying so hard in his way to do such a real thing. He was a really special dude. By the way, if you've been wondering why I've been throwing up my entire hand in every photo, that is because it represents the number 5, which is my favorite number. Literally Google Gary Vee, mom, Jets jersey. Number 5 has been my favorite number since I turned 5 and decided my favorite number was going to be my age.
The sky's falling, the wind is calling, stand for something or die in the morning. Section 80, high power.
In a lot of ways, I hate the way I talk because it's super simple. And I'm sitting right now thinking about the kid listening to this and they're like, ugh, fuck you. It's not that simple. Yet it is. Take me out of the equation. Night Train Lane, legendary football player, was thrown in a dumpster the second he was born. Went on to be one of the great football players of all time, dated every actress in the game, was Red Fox's bodyguard, iconic gentleman. Dumpster. If you know of one person that has ever gotten to a happy place that dealt with your circumstance, there is a blueprint. The end. Do you want to know the easiest way to deal with booing or with negative comments? Don't listen to the cheering and positive comments. I stay in my very small cocoon within my own head, right in the middle. Listen, I'm living a life right now where I have a lot of accolades. If I disappear off the face of the earth tomorrow, I'll get 12 hours of some love on social media and everybody here will move on with their lives. When you have the humility to know you mean nothing, but the ambition to mean everything, shit gets real interesting. I actually sit and truly try to convince myself that I have lost one of the 5 most important people in my life, and that is the biggest thing I do that leads to the biggest happiness I have. Like, What? You didn't sell enough earrings today? Like seriously though, people lack perspective. It's actually remarkably easy if it becomes the way you see the world. Like what? What? Like we have completely lost perspective as a society. Do you know how many people on earth have it way worse than you? Billions.